Good morning, peeps. So I took today off because it's the Friday before Christmas and I took today off. The question I had, and this is one I wanted to hit on, is about sleep deprivation. Somebody wrote in and said, what's the difference between the hallucinations that you get with the cluster A's and the hallucinations you get with sleep deprivation, how you can tell the difference. But first, let me do the disclaimer. Hello, this video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up, click on that, and it will have all of the therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom. Okay. Got that out of the way. All right, so the question was, let me read it because it was a really long one. Hi, Chris, thanks so much for all you do with the videos and such. I have a question that I'd love to hear discussed or explored if you have the chance, and it is this. How common is it for the sleep deprivation tactics to get severe enough where the target actually has some hallucination caused by this ongoing sleep deprivation? Okay, well, let me answer that part of the question first. Incredibly common. So here's the thing, we cannot live without sleep. We can't. We can go for a while without food, not so much without water, but sleep we need. Oh, hey Grace. Yeah, good thing there's no customers this morning. Yeah, well, you can always watch this later on demand if you need to on YouTube. So, because I, post here and then I post it on YouTube. So, okay, so sleep deprivation. So, the Air Force and the government did a whole bunch of studies on sleep deprivation. So they would have volunteers stay awake for hours, and after about, I think it was 24 hours awake, after about 24 hours awake, they would start hallucinating. The other thing that can happen too is if you're severely sleep starved, so like what abusers will do is they will wake you up in the middle of the night and scream, just rage for hours. And I mean like hours. They will just go. And so you've got the, all of the panic stuff going on because here's this person coming at you and you were in a dead sleep and now you're awake and now you're panicked and now this person is like raging at you and there's nothing you can do to calm them down because they don't want to be calmed down. They're enjoying this. So they keep you up for hours and you get maybe 2-3 hours of sleep. Then you have to get up, go to work, do your thing, come back home. Same thing happens. Or what I've seen them do is the person tries to go to sleep and they'll go out into the kitchen and start banging pots and pans and slamming doors and doing this, that, and the other thing. It's very, sleep is hugely important to everybody. Everybody needs a good, solid set of sleep. So, some people, my mom, God love her, she could only sleep 4 hours a night. Her entire life, her entire life, 4 hours, that was it. But that was enough for her and she was good. But other people like me, 8 to 10, hello, that's when I'm at my best, is when I get a solid 8 to 10 hours of sleep. But yes, Kaylee, my mental health takes a nosedive when I get tired. Yes, I have a self-care list in big letters in my room to remind me of that. Yes, yes. And especially this time of year, this is when all of the abusers get ramped up. This is when they're at their peak for just ridiculous abuse because it's the holidays. It's not about them. It's about family. It's about friends. It's about the kids. It's about, going out and celebrating. And this is when they cause a lot of the sleep disturbances, or when there is family and friends involved in some way, shape, or form, they will wake the partner up in the middle of the night and start screaming at them about the family and friends, especially if the family and friends are there, just as a way to create more drama. Usually it's along the lines of, I don't want them in this house. I'm tired of having to cook for them. I'm you guns, that whole thing. So sleep deprivation. So after about 24 hours of no sleep, some volunteers started seeing, hallucinations, and that's common. Or chronic sleep deprivation. In other words, you get 1-2 hours of sleep and then you have to go to work and do all this, and then you get again another maybe 2-3 hours of sleep, and then your abuser is keeping you up. Yeah, you're gonna start hallucinating. I know for me personally, I see giant penguins when I'm too tired. I don't know why it's giant penguins, but it is. It's giant penguins. I see giant penguins. So if I'm traveling, hey Trisha, if I'm traveling and I've been driving and I suddenly see a giant penguin, it's like, okay, I'm pulling over. Thanks. It's like giant penguins, time to pull over. But yeah, it's like we do start hallucinating. And so I'd love to know what that's all about. But anyway, so yeah, we start hallucinating because we're exhausted, because our body is like, hello, get some sleep. Hello, you need to rest. Hello. So yes, we will start hallucinating. So how can you tell the difference between a cluster A hallucination and a sleep deprived hallucination? Cluster A's, so okay, back up. Okay, so sleep deprivation causes weird things. Like, for example, like I said, I see giant penguins. If you've got schizotypal, whatever, you've got schizoaffective, you've got schizophrenia, you've got bipolar with psychotic features, those hallucinations happen day or night regardless of how much sleep you've gotten, especially if you're off your meds. Does that make sense? So those will happen anytime, whether you're rested or not. They get worse when you're not. So, but hallucinations that are caused by an underlying issue such as schizophrenia, those happen day or night, no matter how much sleep you've gotten, especially if you're off your meds, thank you, you're off your meds, you will have hallucinations, both auditory and visual. So, and yeah, you can have auditory and visual hallucinations with sleep deprivation as well, but it's transient. In other words, you get enough sleep, those hallucinations go bye-bye. So like I sleep for a few hours, the giant penguins go away. Does that make sense? So I don't know if they've done studies on long-term sleep deprivation. I know they've done the studies where they've gotten the volunteers to stay awake for 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever. And then they've, monitored how they respond. And of course, it's a downward spiral. I don't know if they've done it where they've allowed them to, hey, Margaret, where they've allowed them to sleep for a couple of hours and then, woken them back up and then, kind of like mimicking like an abusive kind of sleep deprivation relationship. I don't know if they've done that or not. I haven't seen any studies on that. But what I can tell you is, oh, actually, this is part of my robe. It's my Doctor Who robe. Got it at the Comic-Con a couple of years ago. Hey, Catherine. So yes, sleep deprivation absolutely will cause hallucinations, but it is different from bipolar with psychotic features, schizotypal, schizoaffective, schizophrenia, because those constantly are there, like regardless of sleep, regardless of what you're eating, regardless of anything. If you're off your meds, yeah, those hallucinations will be there 24/7. If you're being sleep deprived, it'll be there while you are being sleep deprived. If you're able to catch a couple hours of sleep, the giant penguins go away, and then you start the process all over again until you get too tired again, and then the giant penguins come back, if that makes any sort of sense. All right, second half of this question was, okay, how common is it for the sleep deprivation tactics to get severe enough where the target actually has some hallucinations caused by this ongoing sleep deprivation? It's very common, and it doesn't take very long. This is what people don't understand. It really, really does not take very long to get somebody sleep deprived. All it takes is a couple of nights in a row, really. Oh, thank you, Katie. So, hey, Kelly. Yeah, so it doesn't take very long at all because our bodies need rest, because our bodies are go, 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 and then we need that sleep time, that downtime to repair, heal, process, do whatever it is we do when we're asleep, travel the astral, go visit Gerard Butler, just saying. It's a thing. So it doesn't take very long. It takes maybe a couple of days before that sleep deprivation starts kicking in. It's really, it's insidious, and they're so sneaky about it. So like I said, they'll either be absolutely overt and wake you up screaming in the middle of the night to start an argument, or they'll wait until you've gone to sleep, and then they'll start slamming doors, tossing around stuff in the kitchen, doing stuff that's loud, that's going to wake you up, and it's on purpose. It's not accident. So it's not like, it's a very different thing. So it's not like, somebody is working on something on the computer and something pops up and it gets loud. That's different. That's unintentional, okay? But somebody who does something like that night after 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 night, then that's absolutely intentional. So Yes, it doesn't take long for the hallucinations to start. It just takes your body to be exhausted. It does. And if you're not eating right, if you're not drinking enough water, if you're not exercising, if you're constantly in a state of fear, if this amygdala, if the little amygdala is just doing its thing and just, and it's, getting all the cortisol going and your adrenal glands are going and you're just always, you're going to be hallucinating like nobody's business. You betcha. And it can be video, auditory and visual. I have not yet had all of my coffee yet. I will be working on this. Okay, so that was that part of the question. Hang on. Okay, how common is it for sleep deprivation tactics to get severe enough to where they've actually hallucinations by ongoing? Yes, it's very common. It is extremely common. That is actually one of the most common things that I hear targets of abuse tell me is that their partner is keeping them up at night. And that they're coming up with excuses to wake them up, or that they're, accidentally on purpose waking them up. So they'll come in and, throw open the closet door or slam drawers or, do stuff like that. Earplugs are useful in the covert scenario. Yes, they are. Earplugs can be your friend. However, what I have seen abusers do is they just keep upping the ante. So like in those cases, the covert will become overt because they're pissed off because they're not getting the attention they want if you have earplugs in. And that's when they'll wake you up and start screaming at you, never listen to me, da, 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 that kind of thing. I'm sleep deprived when I hear sounds that seem like my kids crying or saying mommy, but they'll be asleep or not making a lot of noise if they're awake. Oh my God, this is so common, especially for women. So for me, this is the weirdest thing. If I hear a cat yowling, it sounds like a baby to me. I don't know why. And yes, I will wake up out of a dead sleep and go, where's the baby? Where's what? Who? What? It's like, holy cow. Yeah. And I don't know. I've raised my sister's kids. So I suppose that's just, we're trained to get up if we hear anything that sounds like children. So yeah, you gotcha. My soon-to-be ex did it all, keeping me up until 3 or 4 arguing and then getting up at 6 a.m. to work. To keep me off my game for so long. Yeah, and that's what they do. That is exactly what they do. The whole point is to make you exhausted to the point where you will not fight back. That's the whole point. The whole point is to get you to acquiesce to whatever their demands are, and especially if it's about family or friends. If they're trying to get you to get rid of the family and get rid of the friends and get rid of your kids and get rid of your dog and get rid of your cat and get rid of your bird and get rid of anything that takes attention away from them, they will just harp on it. It's just like a little kid in a grocery store, really, when you think about it. Again, more malicious, but it's just like a kid in a grocery store. I wanted it. A good parent would be like, no, you're not getting it. Not, no, you can't have it. It's just, no, you don't want it, but no, you can't have it. Not happening. But abusers are stuck in that 2-year-old phase, the manic ones, the abusive ones, the malignant ones. They're stuck in that 2-year-old phase. Those are temper tantrums. Those are absolute on the floor temper tantrums. You don't talk to people like that. You don't. You don't fucking disrespect somebody like that. You are empathic and you take care of your partner. Your partner takes care of you. It's a mutual. If you love somebody, you respect them. If you respect them, you love them. And if you don't respect them, you don't love them. Bada bing, bada boom. If you're trying to get rid of their family and friends, if you're trying to get rid of their kids, if you're trying to get rid of the dogs, you don't respect them. You don't love them. And that's the thing that the target of abuse is having a hard time wrapping their heads around, because they desperately want to be loved, because it's the original wound that they never fixed. So this abusive partner is a stand-in for the parent. And that's why it's so imperative to get into therapy and start working on the self-esteem, start working on that insecure attachment, so that you never again get with somebody who's going to scream at you, who's going to yell at you, who's going to keep you up at night, who's going to bang things in the kitchen, who's going to get rid of your family and friends, tell your kids that they're shit, not okay, not fucking okay, period. Okay. What if they are sleep deprived? They forget entire conversations. No, they don't. No, they don't. Trust me on that one. They do not. If it suits their purpose, they'll suddenly remember it and want to have the same arguments over and over again. No, they don't forget conversations, sweetie. Nope, they don't. This is all in fucking intentional. All intentional. So this is the thing. narcissists and borderlines, malignant ones, guys. I'm not talking about the traits of. I am talking about when they have slid down the spectrum to the point where they are harming people intentionally and enjoying it. That's malignant, okay? I'm not talking about the quiet ones. I'm not talking about the hermits. I am talking about fucking malignant, okay? I would love to see that in the DSM-5. DSM-5, definition, fucking malignant. Anyway, sorry, more coffee. So they absolutely know what conversations have been had. The reason they have the argument over and over and over again is because they didn't get their way, or they didn't like the way it ended, or they get the supply. You're giving them supply. It makes them feel good because you get all upset, and it's like, yeah, it's their fucking crack, man. I'm telling you that they don't forget bullshit. They know exactly what they're doing. And when I have the same arguments over and over again, is it just a drama they want? Yes, it is absolutely a drama they want. The only place drama should be is on the stage or screen. Go see Star Wars. I loved it. I really did. It was a really, really good movie. Okay. What are they getting out of the drama? Oh, it's supply. It's narcissistic supply. It's something. Here's the thing, guys. People who have got good self-esteem do not live for drama. They don't. They don't fucking have time for it. They're busy doing their own thing. People who are disordered live for the drama because if they can stay focused outside of themselves, they do not have to take a look at what's going on inside here, which is generally shit. Does that make sense? So it's like the people who are all into the drama, the people who are all into the, upset and the constant, that enjoy it. The abusers, they're doing it so that they don't focus in on themselves. It's easier to focus in on somebody else than it is to focus in on your own issues. And especially if you're a malignant narcissist or a malignant borderline, there's no way you're going to focus in on yourself because, oh my God, you'd have to really take a look at what you've done. And that takes a huge amount of self-awareness and courage, which they don't have. So, okay, where was I? Are they getting off? Okay, yeah, they're getting off on the drama. It's almost like they find comfort in the drama. Yes. So here's the funny thing. Both with addicts and with survivors of abuse and with abusers, what I have heard them say, word for word, is, oh my God, normal is boring. Really? Quiet is boring. Calm is boring because they're not used to it. So you become, what's the word I'm looking for? Inured? Is that the right word I'm looking for? You become used to the drama and that heightened sense of awareness and that heightened sense of hypervigilance and that adrenaline rush. It's all messing with your feel-good chemicals, and you start getting addicted to the highs and the lows, the highs and the lows, the intermittent positive rewards, the highs and the lows, the highs and the lows. My arm's going off screen. Hello. Do you see where I'm going with that? So yeah, they find comfort in it because it's normal. It's normal for them. And getting an addict, because we're all addicts, guys. If we've been in multiple abusive relationships, we are as addicted as a heroin user is to heroin. Tell you the fuck what. So we have to understand that calm is good. We have to start associating calm with happy and normal and good, as opposed to, oh my God, this is so boring. Oh my God, I have all these thoughts going on in my head. Because when it gets quiet, guess what? We're left with this. And if this is healthy, happy, and whole, we can hang out with ourselves for days, weeks, months, years alone, no problem. If this is not healthy, happy, and whole, the second it gets quiet, guess what? Oh shit, I need a distraction. I need somebody, no, I need somebody to take me off of this. No. Do you see where I'm going with that, guys? So yeah, it's the thoughts in our heads. We've got to get unaddicted to the drama. We got to get unaddicted to that adrenaline shock. Highs, the lows, the highs, the lows, the highs, the lows. My dad used to do that to me, spent years exhausted as a child. Yeah, my dad did the same thing. Isn't that weird? And my mother would spray me with water when I couldn't wake up in the morning. Holy mother of God, that's not okay. So yes, what I Kat, this is common. This is so freaking common. It starts in childhood. It absolutely does. We get groomed. We get groomed to get into an abusive relationship. We don't just pop out of the womb and go, hey, I'd really love somebody to keep me up at night and scream at me all the time. No, we are groomed. So this shit happens in childhood. This is why I'm saying we've got to work on the original wound. Why are you getting involved in multiple abusive relationships or dysfunctional relationships? What was the original wound? What did mom or dad do, or the caregiver? What happened? Something went south, and it wasn't you. It was your caregivers. So that's why getting in and working on that original wound is so freaking important, and really healing that dysfunctional attachment. So yeah, so it starts in childhood. And yeah, oftentimes what I will see happening is abusers will do things like that. They'll bang pots and pans. They'll spray the kid with water. They'll do something nasty to wake them up, like throw on the lights in the dead of night. You know, they do that to adults too. Yeah, here's the thing. It's so funny. When I got with my husband, John, he used to have a alarm clock that literally sounded like a red alert chime from like Star Trek, right? And he loved it. He was like, oh, it's Star Trek. Oh, it's great. I hated that alarm because it was so shocking. And of course, I too have CPTSD, that it was this total panic when I would wake up. And I finally told him, I said, sweetheart, I love you, but I'm going to take a sledgehammer to that alarm clock if it goes off one more time. So we put it in another room. It's the guest alarm now. If they so choose, we warn them. And we ended up getting a Zen clock, because what it does is it does the soft, gentle light. And I wake up to that like that, because, you know, here in the summertime, it's like I start waking up right around the time the sun starts coming up. Here in the wintertime, unfortunately, the same thing, which is why I need an alarm clock, because I'll sleep until 8 o'clock if it's dark. God, I hate the wintertime for that. Anyway, so the point, I'm much more of a spring summer chick than I am a winter chick. Anyway, so the point being is yes, they will start that shit when we're kids. And so that when we get into an abusive relationship with another narcissist or borderline or whatever, and remember I'm talking malignant, and they start doing that, it's really familiar to us. And so part of us goes, oh, well, this is what I went through when I was a kid, so this must be normal. No, nope, 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 side of nope. Extra helping him, nope, not normal. Not normal. Normal way to wake up is gently. Sounding like Princess Bride. But yeah, gently, softly, lovingly. You know, it's like the best way to wake up is just softly, gently. It's like, oh, hello, morning. Let's get going. Let's have a cup of coffee. Let's, you know, hello, lover. How are you? You know, fun, happy, joyful. That's the way to wake up. If somebody is waking you up, flipping on the lights, throwing water on you, screaming at you, guess what? You're in an abusive relationship. Even if they do it once. It's abusive. You don't fucking act like that. Human beings that are healthy don't act like that. Okay. Do I have any attachment theory books that you recommend? Oh, yes. So there was one, Inner Child Work. The Inner Child Workbook. Who's it by? Yeah. I'll get back to you on that. But there's a bunch of them out there, guys. There's a bunch of inner child. So working on our inner child is hugely important, because that gets us in touch with what the original wound was. So what I do oftentimes is I will have people do guided imagery with me. Hold on, I need more coffee. Hang on. I'll have people, oh God, it's gone cold. I will have people do guided imagery with me, and I will have them go somewhere safe in their head. Once they find that safe place, I have them call their young inner child to them. And 9 times out of 10, they burst into tears as soon as that little kid shows up. And then I say, okay, have them come sit on your lap. What do they need? Ask them what they need. And 9 times out of 10, it is, I just need to feel safe. He just wants to feel safe. She just wants to feel safe. She wants to know she has, you know, she has protection, that somebody's going to protect her this time, or somebody's going to protect him this time. So you work with the inner child. The inner child is the one that's unfortunately driving the show. When we are involved in an abusive relationship, I can guarantee it, it's the inner child, because an adult would not put up with water being thrown on them, lights being thrown on, being screamed at, et cetera, or family and friends being excommunicated from the relationship. Yeah, they would not put up with that, but a child would, because they're desperate to please the abuser. So you want to work on the inner child. So there's the Inner Child Workbook. I cannot remember who it's by. I will try to find that and post that somewhere. Actually, I'll post it on this channel. I'll go find it and post it up there. Hey, Arthur. So where was I going? Inner Child Self-Esteem. So the Self-Esteem Workbook by Schiraldi. And you want to work on the Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker, because we're codependent, because we're desperately trying to get that abuser to approve of us. We're desperately trying to get that original wound fixed by making this person love us. If I can just make this person love us, this proves mom or dad wrong. No, it doesn't. All it does is keep compounding the harm and the hurt and the wounds. You've got to get rid of the abuser, and you've got to start working on the original wound. Okay, where was I? Love your F-bombs. Thank you. Okay, your videos have been very helpful in recovery. Thank you. Happy holidays. Looking forward to learning more in the new year. Oh, thank you, Bill. Yes, and I will be doing, definitely, I've got the whole list done of what the new shows are going to be. You mentioned they're stuck in the 2-year-old phase, and yes, 5 years ago when I quit an abusive relationship with a covert narc, he literally burst down into tears for so long I got worried. Took me years to understand he was throwing a temper tantrum. What the fuck? Yeah. That they do that. They absolutely do that. Hey, Christopher. Hey, Deborah. Yes. Oh, speaking of Atlanta, Georgia, yes, I am going to be doing a seminar in Atlanta. It is going to be towards the end of April. I don't have any details yet, but as soon as I get stuff figured out and booked and yada yada, we'll put up stuff to do that. So, okay, where was I? After getting out of an abusive situation, I found myself mirroring some of my ex's behavior. It took a lot of work to catch myself and stop the cycle. It's called fleas. So there's an old saying, when you lay down with dogs, you're going to pick up fleas. So it's the same thing, although I love dogs, but it's the same thing. If you're hanging out with an abuser, you are going to start adopting their belief system, their behaviors, their this, their that. And the other thing, I have seen completely honorable people turn into complete liars. I have seen totally sweet, kind, gentle people turn into absolute, cynical, nasty, vicious, harmful, and they're spewing stuff out of their mouth that it's literally, it's like a puppet master. It's like, the abuser is saying, do this, do this, do this, and the target of abuse goes, oh, well, da-da-da-da-da, and that's what I really believe. And you're sitting there going, no, that's not you. I know you, that's not you. So yeah, we pick up fleas. We run their energy. We become them. It's called identifying with the aggressor in order to not be harmed. So in other words, we try to adopt ourselves, twist ourselves into a pretzel to become that abuser so that we are more like them, so that they are less likely to attack us. It's an ego defense mechanism. So when you give up your morals, when you start lying, when you start becoming the abuser, you've picked up fleas. That's all it is. And it's a learned behavior. So the good news is, if it's a learned behavior, you can unlearn it and replace it with healthy stuff. So that's the good news. So that's what that is. So yeah, and it takes consciousness, and it takes work, and it takes going, oh, wait a minute. This is not me. This is the abuser shit. I'm not playing. So yeah, okay. So good job, Sarah. Good job. Keep going. Margaret, abso-freaking-lutely. I totally agree. I don't like Trump. I don't. I see so many red flags. It's not even funny. Okay. Hell yes, they hate it when we are calm. They just want to see us a complete mess. Yeah, because they enjoy it. It's crack for them. They're just getting off on it. I don't like drama, but I do like staying busy and occupying myself. Is that also a way to avoid thoughts and feelings, just a distraction? You just answered your own question. Yes, it is. So here's what I hear people say and especially this happens a lot in grief. So something to consider. We are grieving. When we leave that abusive relationship, no matter how horrible it was, no matter how awful they were to us, we are grieving. This is a loss. It is. Even though it's the loss of something that we need to lose, we still need to acknowledge that there is going to be some grief there. We are going to miss aspects of that relationship. And oftentimes what we really miss is that fake mask, that mask that they presented. We so desperately want to get back to that love bombing. We so desperately wanted that person that they presented themselves as, but that person that they presented themselves as was a mirror of us. Because they mirrored everything we wanted, everything we liked, everything, again, Frozen, Prince Hans with On It. Perfect example of love bombing. So they were us, and we fell in love with us. And then when they showed us who they really are, and they became horrible, nasty, vicious, cruel, mean, and when we finally said enough, yeah, it's a loss. We're grieving the loss of what we'd hoped was real. And that's okay. Grieve it. Grieve it. Grieve it. Grieve it. Grieve it. So when we are leaving an abusive relationship, when we are dealing with a loss, a death, a divorce, a breakup, anything like that, oftentimes what I hear people tell me is, oh, well, I keep myself busy. I just keep myself busy. Well, guess what? You're distracting yourself. What you need to do is sit down. Well, you don't need to. What would be useful to do would be to sit down and write it out. Get it out of your head, get it onto paper, trot it out to the barbecue, read it out loud once, burn it, work it through, because what you're doing is you're just putting it off. And what's going to end up happening is all of these emotions that you're trying to avoid are going to come out sideways, and you don't want that. You want it to be open, honest, straightforward, not sideways. So you don't want to take it out on somebody else. You don't want to self-harm. You don't want to self-sabotage. You want to deal with it and stop keeping yourself, quote unquote, busy. What is it that you're avoiding? What are you afraid of? What's the fear? Fear. False evidence appearing real. Remember that. Danger is real. Putting your hand on a hot stove, not a good idea. But a lot of fear is just the bullshit we put ourselves through. It's a mind fuck. It's a mental what if. It's a mental mind fuck. That's all we're doing. We are just mind fucking ourselves. Stop it. Anytime the fear pops up, is this a real thought? Could this happen? Okay, yeah, it could. And what's the likelihood? And is there anything it can do about it? No. Okay, let it go. Let it go. So what are you trying to avoid? That's really what you need to focus in on. Yeah, you don't want to stay busy. You want to stay present. That's the thing. That's the key. When people say, oh, I'm getting better, I'm staying busy. Nope. When you walk in here and you tell me you're staying present, then we're good to go. So stay present. Stay present. What are you avoiding? What are you trying not to feel? What's the fear? Work on that. Okay. Wow, you hit the hammer on the head. I think that's the nail on the head. I don't know. I get my things mixed up too. It's okay, Deborah. So yeah, thank you. I'm glad I did. That's awesome. Thank you for that validation. Very true. Okay, great point. Re-addiction, so true. Working on my codependency. Yes. Those alarm clocks that sounded like the world was just about to end stressed me so much as a kid too. Yeah, I hate those. I really hate those. My mom and dad would come in and just flip on the lights, and I hate that. And I told John, I was like, if you ever wake me up like that, we are done. So, okay, you're making me want coffee. Coffee's great. I love coffee. Okay, Atlanta, my hometown. Cool. Good morning, Judy. Oh, you were referring to the Supreme Leader in Star Wars. Yes, he was a narcissist too. That's so funny, because John and I were having this conversation this morning. And he was like, I don't get it. Why? Okay, spoiler alert, if you have not seen Star Wars, plug your ears and go la 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 for the next minute. Hold on. So, okay, in the movie, okay, spoiler alert, here we go. In the next movie, or in this movie, the Emperor again cannot see what's coming and ends up getting killed. Okay, so John was like, oh, I don't get it. If he's the Emperor and he's so amazing, how come he couldn't see what was coming? And that's when I looked at him and I said, okay, let me pull a little psychology on you here. Narcissists are so fucking arrogant. They can't conceive of somebody dethroning them. They can't. It's outside of their realm of possibility. And it's not even how do I explain this? It's different from how a target of abuse feels when they get discarded. You know, it's like the discard starts happening. There's that like, what the fuck? Okay, but it's a what the fuck as in a, wait, there was so much love there. There was so much, so much of this there. Why are you doing this? With a narcissist, it's like when the target of abuse wakes up and finally goes, we're done. They're so arrogant. They don't have that empathy. They don't have that, oh my gosh, I'm losing a good thing. It's all about their fucking ego. It's like they're so invested in being right. They would rather be right than in a relationship. That's really how it goes. And they would rather win. It's all about the win for them. It's all about the win. So the Supreme Leader in Star Wars was so arrogant, he could not conceive of somebody dethroning him or figuring him out or, working his own voodoo against him. Does that make sense? It's very psychological. It's very much like a narcissist. A narcissist does the same thing. And I had a wonderful comment on YouTube from a person that was like, the truth always comes out. Always. And I was like, yeah, it does. And they said, if they will show themselves eventually. They always do. They can't help it. They can't keep that mask going forever. And eventually family, friends, and flying monkeys who were unwitting flying monkeys. Now, I'm talking about the ones who are having a hard time wrapping their head around what abuse is, not the ones who are like, oh, goody, 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 this is a drama and I can be involved in it. But the flying monkeys that are truly like clueless as to what abuse is, when they finally get it, they go, oh shit, and then they're gone. So, yeah, so it's this arrogance. It's this absolute arrogance that they cannot conceive of somebody finding them out. They cannot conceive of somebody using their own voodoo against them. So yeah, that's a great analogy, Margaret. I really like that. Okay. Where are we? Oh, back up. So true. Trying to forget the deception is so tough. Yeah, because they're master thespians. They are. They make, you know, Richard Burton look like an amateur. So seriously, I just dated myself. Nobody knows who Richard Burton is. So yeah, it's they put on whatever mask it is they think they need to in order to gain the acceptance of whoever's around them so that they can then use them as flying monkeys, you bet. And it's all a game. It's all a mask. It's all bullshit. Abusers often repeat the same words or actions over and over again. Are they attempting to program us consciously or subconsciously? Not. They are not. They know exactly what they are doing. I have had statements from abusers say things like, well, you know, if the family doesn't like me, it's not going to work. Huh, must have happened before. Do you see where I'm going with that? So yeah, exactly. So they do things based on what's going to get them what they want. They are very primal. It's all about their wants, their needs, their desires, them, more, their genitals. That's it. Me, I, more my dick, basically. That's it. So they do it over and over again consciously. If something works, they do it. If it's worked in the past, they do it. And it's not unconscious. It is intentional. How do I get my ends met? How do I get my needs met? How do I win? That's how they think. They are fucking sharks. They are the sharks, land shark of this world. They are. The dead eyes, the determination, you know, I want what I want and I want it and I want it now. And I don't care who I eat or kill or maim or harm in order to get it, including children. They don't care. They don't fucking care. And what they will do is they will say things like, well, you spend too much time with your kids. I don't want them around. You spend too much time with your kids. You spend too much time with your dogs. You spend too much time with your cats. And they want you to get rid of them. They want you to get rid of them. And that is a huge red flag. If you're getting involved with somebody that has children, you adopt those kids. Those kids become a part of your family. You meld the family. You don't sit there and try to get rid of them. And if your partner is trying to get rid of your own children, Houston, you've got a fucking problem. Huge. So there that is. Or if they're trying to get rid of your dogs, or if they're trying to get rid of your cats, or if they're trying to get you to give up friends, if they're trying to get you to give up family, huge red flag. Huge. And they will twist things. They will twist things and say that the family and the friends are the evil ones and they are the saint. And it's like, really? Let's take a look at actions. Actions speak louder than words. What are the actions of your family? What are the actions of your friends? What did they do for you? What have they been doing for you? Actions always speak louder than words. Do they keep you up at night screaming at you? Do they smear you? Do they harm you? Do they put you down? No, but the abuser does. Look at the actions. Okay. Okay, I really recommend The Shape of Water for everyone, not for kids. Okay, good, cool. That's cool. Wow, so that's why so many politicians don't give a damn about hiding their track. It's so effed up. It's their arrogance. Yes, absolutely. They cannot conceive of being dethroned, which is why it's so important that everybody get out there and vote. It pisses me off when people are like, oh, I didn't vote, it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you know what? You get the government you deserve. If you don't vote, then fuck you. So, yeah, sorry. More coffee. Greetings from Mississippi. Chris, what the hell are you doing in Mississippi? Oh, my God. Last time I heard you were in, like, Louisiana or something, winning tons of money. Okay. Yes, they are masters of manipulation. I always feel better after The Wizard of Oz. I always identified with the struggles of the Scarecrow and Lion and Tin Man. I know. That was always one of my favorite movies. When I was a little kid, it took me forever to figure out, I think until I was a teenager, that the flying monkeys were just people in costumes. I was like, that's really cool. So I have this, probably because of the abuse and because I had such a rich creative life, I had to survive my childhood. It's like I'm able to suspend my disbelief really well. If you're a comedian, I'm your audience, because I will laugh at damn near anything. If you're a magician, I'll be like, oh, it's real, you know. So, which is a danger if you also don't have that side of you that can go, okay, hold on, is this person a narcissist or not? So yeah, you want to be careful with that. Now in Alabama, what the hell? You're driving or flying, aren't you? Okay, so back to the question of sleep deprivation. Okay, sorry, I got a little sidetracked. Yes, there are differences. I think I explained that. Yeah, okay, so here's the thing, guys. Don't ever feel ashamed to ask a question. Really don't. Because there are no dumb questions. There really aren't, because not everybody's on the same playing field. Some people have gone through the abuse and now they're into the recovery point where they're finding out who they are and what they want and where they want to go. Some of them are past that and they know where they are and who they are and what they want and where they want to go. Some are just in the beginning phase. So don't ever feel ashamed to ask a question, because it's like, and yeah, am I going to be repeating myself a lot? You betcha. Because it's like, you know, I help people through, they get through, they move on. I get a new group that has just woken up. You know, they woke. So yeah, and Beth is driving. So yeah, so don't ever be afraid to ask a question. And it's helpful, because here's the thing I want you to think about. If you're asking the question, there are probably 20 or 30 other people who have the same question who don't have the courage to ask it. So please ask questions. Let me know what you need to have answers on, because if you're asking it, somebody else has got the same question. So huzzah. Okay, where did I go? Okay, back over to here. So sleep deprivation, hang on. Okay, I think it's an important topic that people may feel too ashamed to ask about. Yes. Well, yeah, because we get told we're crazy. We get told that, you know, oh no, you know, the abusers love to pretend they know everything, okay? And even though they have no degree, have never really studied it, don't have any experience in the field, they will pretend that they know everything about psychology. They do. And they will twist stuff. And so if you're having hallucinations because of sleep deprivation, they'll go, oh no, that's not normal. Oh no, you shouldn't be. No, you're crazy. No, da 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 da. Again, for their own ends. For their own ends. And they don't know about psychology unless they have a master's degree and they've been in the field for, you know, 10 years plus. Don't listen to them. So, okay. All right. Okay. Okay, I'd been isolated and had gotten pretty chronically sick from ongoing abuse and CPTSD. And during the worst of it, I was being kept up for days at a time, sometimes as much as 3 to 4 days with no real sleep. Yes, you will start hallucinating after 24 hours, you bet. And suffered hallucinations connected with that. Throw in gaslighting and isolation, along with all the usual shit these folks do. And I was a real mess for a while. Once I got away from that and started to really understand what had been happening, things improved a lot all around. And I'm doing very well now. Huzzah! I did a lot of Richard Grandin's courses. Excellent. I cannot recommend him enough. If you are in the middle of an abusive relationship, take his classes. Richie is wonderful. I love that man. I do. He's so fun. Such a flirt. You should have seen him flirting with the waitress. It was pretty funny. And his accent was getting him places, let me tell you that. So with the waitress. So yeah, anyway, but Richie's awesome. Richie is freaking awesome. He's got some wonderful courses. Take them. Take them. Use what's out there. Melanie Tanya Evans. I love her. She's a little out there. She's a little woo-woo. She's a little way out into the metaphysical, but I love her. She's awesome. Take her classes. Kim Saeed, Saeed, I think is how she spells it. She's got courses. Go take her courses. She's amazeballs. I love what she posts. There's Shannon Thomas does stuff. There's so many good therapists, life coaches, people been there, done that out there. Susan Quintana has been through it as well. She's another one. I love her stuff. So, you know, Richie's great. I love Richie. And anybody who is working towards enlightenment, who is educating. Go take their courses, go read, go educate, go do. Richie's great. Please go take his courses. He is awesome. Kim Saeed is awesome. Shannon Thomas is awesome. I can't think of Melanie Tanya Evans. If you're into the metaphysical stuff, she's your cup of tea. She's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. She's a little too out there. I mean, I get stuff out of her things, but sometimes I look at it and I go, oh my, we have entered the twilight zone. But I do like her. I think she's got a lot of good stuff. So if you're into the metaphysical, she's your girl. If you're not, she's not. So Kim Saeed is awesome. I love her. Books. Psychopath Free is a great book. What's another one? How to Go No Contact Like a Boss. That's another wonderful one. There's a ton of them out there. Okay, so back to this. The Gaslighting Isolation, Real Mess, blah, blah, blah. I did a lot of Richie Grandin's courses, yes, which were amazingly helpful. Yes, you, Richie Grandin, and Dana Morningstar, she's another one, are my favorite speakers on these topics, and you've helped me immensely on the journey. Thank you. You are very welcome, and I'm glad I could help. So sleep deprivation is a real thing. They do this, and they do this intentionally to keep you malleable, to keep you manipulatable. Don't even know if that's a word, but I'm going to make it a word. They do it so that they can more easily gaslight you, twist history, rewrite history, tell you up is down, black is white, yellow is green, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's intentional. It is absolutely, it's the same tactics that POWs go through, guys. Sleep deprivation, that's the number one. If you read anything on POWs, that is the number one thing they talk about, is how they were sleep deprived so that they were more easily made to obey. So yeah, it is intentional. They absolutely know what they're doing. There is no oops with this at all. I don't believe in oops. I don't. Not as far as that is concerned. Now, are there genuine oops? Yeah, there are genuine oops out there. But you know what the difference is because an oops happens and the person goes, oh my God, I have harmed you. I am so sorry from the depth of my soul. It will never happen again. And then it doesn't. That's how you know that's a real oops and that's a real amends, okay? With an abuser, they will go, first of all, they don't apologize. But secondly, if they do apologize, it's generally an I'm sorry, but followed by 3 hours of why it's all your fault. Do you see where I'm going with that? And they will twist stuff. They will take things that have happened in your family and friends and make them nefarious and make them evil and make them vicious and make them wrong. And I'm sorry, actions speak louder than words. You cannot believe the words of an abuser. Look to the actions. What have the actions said? What has every action said to you about this person? And if you're believing the words of an abuser and kicking your family and friends and your children and your dogs to the curb, Houston, you got a big problem. Big problem. So anyway, that is that. So yes, sleep deprivation is absolutely a tool that they use. Don't be ashamed to ask about it. Ask as many questions as you need. Yes, after about 24 hours of sleep deprivation, you will start hallucinating. And sometimes less than that, depending on how tired you are. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I had a friend just like that too, but I finally had to cut her off completely. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, Chris, yes, the last psychopath used the right words to appear he was an expert in every subject. That's what they do. They are not, and they will twist. They'll learn just enough about psychology to make it sound plausible, and then they'll twist it, like they're the experts. And it's like, again, actions versus words. Who's the expert in the field? Who's had the education? Who's had the training? Who's had the expertise in the field? Who's been in the field for 12 plus years? Not the abuser. Okay, those guys, okay. Oh my God, Chris, yes, expert in every subject. I can totally see how those guys can groom the masses. Yeah, you betcha. So again, you want to look to what are the credentials? Why are they doing this? What's the reasoning? So I got to tell you, I had a person call me the other day and she asked me all the questions that I told you guys to ask. It was phenomenal. It was really great. She was one of the few that has ever done that, which is awesome. Why did you get into counseling? Why are you here? What's your expertise? How did you get your training? Where did you go? It's like, yes, great, that's perfect. And I'm sorry, but if a counselor gets all snarky and nasty because you're asking questions, don't hire them. That's a pretty good indication that they're not open. Because remember, the counseling relationship is it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a co-op. No, it's not a co-op. It's a cooperation. It's a flow back and forth. It's like, you guys have got to have a good rapport. You've got to be able to trust each other. You've got to be able to work with each other, not against each other. So if you've got somebody who's acting like their shit doesn't stink and they're not going to answer any questions, get the hell out. Don't hire them. Find somebody who's willing to be open, be honest, be straightforward, work with you. So yeah, so I was thrilled when that person asked all the questions. I was like, this is fucking awesome. Yay. So that's good. Okay. Okay. 3 years in an abusive relationship. Glad to have her out of my life. Thanks so much for your videos. Helped me so much. Greetings from South Africa. Oh, greetings to you too. That's awesome. Okay. Susan, what are you asking? Let me know what you're asking, Susan, because I'm not sure what you're asking. Almost finished listening to Disease to Please on Audible. Very eye-opening. Yes, it is. Because when we realize how we don't say no and we don't draw boundaries and that we're like trying to please everybody and their dog. Oh yeah, Disease to Please is a great book by Harriet Breaker. Awesome. Get it on audio. It's an awesome book. It's phenomenal. My ex-narc would lock me out of the bedroom to keep me from going to bed. Oh, jeez. Most of the time, I never even understood why. Sometimes it was for not having his dinner on the table. I'm sorry, is it the 1950s? When he wanted it, even though he didn't say he was ready to eat, and he refused to eat dinner before 10 o'clock at night. Mind you, I have 4 kids that I took care of all day and eventually was working full-time job on top of it. Holy crap. Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah, no, it's, again, love and respect. If they don't respect you, they don't love you. If they don't love you, they don't respect you. And if they're pulling shit like this, that's not love. That, if it hurts, it ain't love. Okay, I had to push friends away because of my abuser. Yes, you lose friends, you lose family, you lose your children, you lose your dogs, you lose your cats, you lose anything that will take your attention away from the abuser because the abuser can't stand that you're spending time with anybody else other than them. Yeah, I'm sorry, that sucks. Do borderlines experience true empathy? I have a close friend who checks a ton of boxes, including the raging. However, with outsiders, she's super loving, charismatic, and very funny and seems to care. However, I notice at times when she's talking to me, she kind of looks checked out and preoccupied as if she's not listening. Okay, so borderlines tend to be created from trauma. So they can have empathy, especially if they're on the traits of line of it. You know, once they've slid to malignancy. Now, here's the reason why they're checked out. Borderline personality disorder has traits of all 10 major personality disorders, okay? And it also borders on psychotic thinking. So the thoughts that are going on inside of their heads are just chaotic. I mean, awful. I would not want to spend 2 seconds inside of somebody's head that has borderline personality disorder. It's awful. It's like toxic soup. And a lot of it is really damning self-talk and a lot of fear, a lot of paranoia, a lot of, that's why it borders on psychotic thinking. So if they look like they're checked out, it's because they're listening to what's going on in here. They're not here. They're not in the here and now. They're not in the present. They're dealing with the la, 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 that's going on upstairs. So yeah, that's why she looks checked out. The raging is a concern because that says to me they're sliding. So the quieter ones, the hermit ones, yes, they can. If they're down towards the traits of end of it, yeah, they can be very empathic. They can be very loving and kind and sweet. And then though, when the voices start up, and this is different than bipolar. This is why I'm saying bipolar and borderline often get misdiagnosed because there is all of this chatter going on up here. And it's toxic and it's mean and it's nasty and it's cruel and it's frightening. It scares the hell out of them. I would not want to have that ever. And I do have a lot of empathy for people down on the traits of spectrum. However, once they've slid to malignancy, I have no empathy for them. And I mean like consistently. Like if they start sliding up and they recognize it and then they start working on it, great. Fan-fucking-tastic, go you. But if they've hit malignancy and they go, fuck you, I'm going to keep doing it, then no sympathy here. Yeah, so at times she acts Jekyll and Hyde towards me and other close friends. However, within the larger group, she's super loving and charming. There could be something else going on. They really could. Be careful. Good, strong boundaries, you know, and don't put up with raging. Don't put up with the bad behavior. When that behavior happens, you have to show them how you're willing to be treated. And if you're not willing to put up with that, you go, no, and I mean it. And then turn around and walk out. And don't allow it. You don't have to put up with it. Being a friend does not mean enabling bad behavior. Being a friend means drawing good, strong boundaries and go, you're better than this, and I'm better than this, and I'm not putting up with this. Peace out. That's what being a friend is. Okay. It's a great thing to make amends. A good book to work on the original wound is Complex CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. Love it. Love it, live it, love it. Here's the thing though. It's going to trigger the fucking hell out of you. Be prepared. So when you read CPTSD, Complex Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder from Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker, take it in teeny tiny little chunks. And I mean teeny tiny little chunks. So read as much as you can, walk away, go do something else, come back to it. So that's going to be the way that you're going to work that book. It's going to be very difficult to sit down and just blast through. You're going to take it in chunks because your brain's going to go. So, and that's what you want. That is good. So yeah, you're going to get triggered. Okay. The Tap of Fully Feeling by Pete Walker. Ooh, yes. The Tao of Fully Feeling by Pete Walker. Yes. Anything by Pete Walker. Yes. Anything by Pete Walker. I love Pete Walker. That's an awesome book. Yes. The Tao of Fully Feeling. I love it. I read a book on psychological warfare that blew my mind because it was exactly a playbook for narcissistic abuse. Exactly. Yes. Yes. Did I mention it's like they have a playbook? And no matter where they are in the world, no matter how old they are, no matter what sex they are, they do the exact same behavior. No matter where they are, no matter who they are, no matter what they are. Exact same. It's like there is a playbook. You bet your bippy. Okay, I had a friend that is BPD. We were only friends for a short time because she became very clingy very fast. Then if I did not text her right back, she would call me out on it. I finally just cut her off completely, no contact. Yeah. So again, borderlines have not learned who they are. They have not learned to trust who they are. They don't know who they are. And so they look to other esteem to get self-esteem. And that's not self-esteem, that's other esteem. So what they're doing is when they text somebody, they're doing this. Hello, John. When they text somebody, they're doing this. They're leaning on them for reaffirming who they are. And if this person doesn't text back right away, this person decompensates. This starts going blah, 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 and goes, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then they get very clingy and very angry and very scared and because it's abandonment. They're terrified of abandonment. And that is why narcissists love getting involved with a borderline. It is the most toxic relationship ever on the face of the planet because the narcissist just tortures the shit out of the borderline and leaves them almost irreparably damaged because they just abandon, torture, hurt, harm, vicious, nasty, mean, and then this person is just like, you know, it's awful. I freaking hate malignant narcissists. They're just fucking assholes. Okay. Yes. So that's why they get very clingy and very freaked out if you don't respond immediately, is because their self-esteem depends on what other people think of them. You can't worry what other people think of you. You cannot. The only person's opinion that matters is yours and your higher creator. That's it. So, and that is not to be narcissistic. That is like, you know who you are. And you know when you fucked up. You know when you've hurt somebody. You do. Psychopaths do, and they do it on purpose. So yeah, so somebody who does something harmful over and 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 over again, they're a psychopath. Hello. Okay. The wave borderlines are the ones who keep pulling you back into their drama. Don't fall for their fake helplessness. Yes, learned helplessness. And it is the drama thing. It is the victim thing. It is the help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. And so they'll now again, those are kind of sliding towards the malignant end of it because it's like they keep saying, help me, help me, help me. And you throw them the line and then they just keep going, no, no, no. So it's like that old joke. I know I've told it before. I'm going to tell it again. It's the guy who's drowning, right? There's a flood. He's up to his knees in water and a rowboat comes by and they says, get into the boat. And he says, no, brother, I'm waiting for Jesus to save me. And then a little while later, it's up to his shoulders. And then a guy with a rope comes through and throws it to him and says, grab onto the rope. I'll pull you out. And he's like, no, brother, I'm waiting for Jesus to save me. And then eventually he's up in a tree and it's up to his nose and the helicopter comes down. They drop the ladder and they say, come on, grab the ladder. We'll pull you up. And he's like, no, brother, I'm waiting for Jesus to save me. And then he drowns. And then he's pissed and he goes to heaven and he goes, you know, Saint Gabriel, Saint Gabriel, is he the one that's at the gates? St. Peter's the ones at the gates. St. Peter, I want to see Jesus. I'm really angry. So St. Peter goes, okay, takes him back, finds Jesus. He's playing golf with Moses. And he says, Jesus, you know, you were supposed to save me, blah, 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 blah. And Jesus looks at him and goes, well, look, man, I sent you a rowboat. I sent you a rope. I sent you a helicopter. What more do you want? So it's that learned helplessness. It's that waiting for somebody else to save you, and it's never enough. So yeah, that is absolutely, and that is behavior that they do over and over and over again. Poor me, I'm the victim, I'm the victim, I'm the victim. Stop it. You're not. It's a choice. You choose. You choose to be the victim. Stop it. Knock it off. Take the opportunities that are offered you. So yeah, and what they do is they live off of that drama of, you didn't save me. Why didn't you save me? Well, it's all your fault. You guns. Whenever anybody does the you guns, walk the fuck away. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you for answering my questions. Yes, learning to accept the friendship feels obligatory at times. College roommate, maid of honor in one another's weddings, throwing baby showers for each other. So because it's such an important friendship, I'm learning to let go of expectations. Is it really a friendship? Think about it. It's like, if this person is harming you, putting you down, making you feel bad, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, is this really a friendship? Because friends don't do that to each other. If it hurts, it ain't love. And that extends to friendships. So friendships are supportive. So friendships love each other. Friendships respect each other. Friendships never call names, never make false allegations, never gaslight, never harm, never, ever put an abuser above the friendship, ever. Is it a friendship? There you go. Hey, Eliza. Yep, that friend is married to a narcissist. Not surprising. Oof, I'm sorry. Correction, learning to let go and grieve the expectations that I myself always hoped would be. Yes. Let go of what could have been. I don't know if you guys ever read my first book, What's Wrong with Your Dad, but in it, I talk about how the saddest words in the English language are, if only. If only this person were sane. If only this person were aware. If only this person were kind. If only this person were, if only, if only, if only, if only, if only. You gotta let it go, grieve it. It is what it is. What is, not what could have been, what is. That's what we gotta stay rooted in, because what the abuser does is they hoover us with what could be. Oh, baby, I've changed. Oh, I've changed. Oh, it's gonna be better. I promise I'll never do that again. What is? What is? What are the actions? Look to the actions, not the words. Look to the actions, not the words. I cannot say that often enough, because narcissists and borderlines who are malignant cannot make their words and their actions match. They can't. It's impossible for them. They can't do it. I mean, they can do it for a short amount of time, but then the mask slips and then you get to see who they really are. And 9 times out of 10, it ain't pretty. It's ugly. Something ain't right with that. Oh. Even cold coffee tastes good. Okay. All right. I experienced learned helplessness because the abuse continued through several severe illness and isolation where I was utterly dependent. Yes, that sucked. And it was difficult to relearn. Now I love my sovereignty. Yes, you are an independent agent. You have your own agency. You get to go be you. And when we're victims, when we play the victim game, when we do that learned helplessness, the abuser wins. The abuser wins. The second we stand up on our own 2 feet and go, yo, dusting myself off, moving forward, they've lost. They've lost. So yeah, get your sovereignty back. I love it. Good on you, girl. That's fantastic. All right. I finally realized through rejections comes clarity. My narc is still trying, but it will be 1 year since no contact. He's Machiavellian. Yeah, I didn't know how to spell Machiavellian either. I swear to God, it's like I have to look it up every single time, so don't even worry about it. And has a harem still. I love you, Chris. You gave me so much insight. Peace. Oh, I'm glad. Thank you. I'm glad I could help. I'm glad I could help. And yes, Machiavellian, control freaks. Control freaks. They're just fucking control freaks. Okay, victimization. I know all about that. You can say what I told you in a personal message. Okay. Where am I? How do you stop the cycle of wondering, am I good or bad? Okay. Okay. Or in other words, how can you work on black and white thinking? It's going to take work. It's going to take mindfulness. It's going to take therapy. Therapy. There's another great book. Oh, The Drama of the Gifted Child by Alice Miller. Drama of the Gifted Child. Wonderful book. I love that book. So when we are raised by either a borderline or a narcissist or both, they teach us splitting. It's called splitting. So it's black, white, good, bad, all, nothing. Okay. So the world is an entire plethora of colors, varying shades of gray and purple and green and orange and yellow and everything else. So we have to be conscious. We have to stop and go, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? Ooh, I got to plug my computer in. What are we thinking? What are we feeling? What is real? What is not real? Is this black and white thinking? Am I doing one extreme or the other? So it's calling yourself out on it, and it's being conscious about it, and it's journaling, and it's working on self-esteem, and it's recognizing that the world is a whole plethora of colors. And when we get stuck in that black and white thinking, why are we getting stuck in that black and white thinking? What triggered it? What happened? What did we hear? What did we think? What did we feel? What reminded us of our past? So it's going to be an ongoing process. So yes, I too started off with very black and white thinking. You bet your sweet bippy, because I was raised by a borderline personality disordered father who had very strong narcissistic traits. You betcha. So he expressed a lot of his borderline through narcissism, because remember, traits of all 10. But he was definitely a borderline because he was totally suicidal and harmful. And oh my God, that poor guy. So yeah, so we learn it. It's a learned behavior. So if we can learn it, we can unlearn it and relearn the plethora. So it just takes practice. Get with a good therapist. Get with somebody who understands narcissistic abuse syndrome, survivor syndrome, somebody who understands what it's like to be raised by somebody with borderline or narcissism. I like Jung. So when I look for a therapist, I look for somebody that's got Jung, or I like Adler as well, but also somebody who does reality therapy, and also somebody who does mindfulness, DBT. DBT can help the survivors as well as the persons who have the disorder, because we pick up a lot of those fleas. So work on it. Be aware of it. Work on it. Write it out. Journal it. Oh, caught myself being black and white today. Okay, this was the subject. Here's how I got triggered. Here's how I worked through it. That kind of thing. And you become aware, and you become awake, and you stop being so black and white. So yeah, it's normal. Totally normal, guys, but work on it. Yeah, absolutely. The most dangerous side of being with an abuser is how they make us think we're unable to love them. And that feeling of being worthless extends to every other aspect of our lives. We drop our dreams and passions. Reclaiming them takes some time. Yes. And if you had a parent who was constantly putting down your other parent, and you're the same sex as that parent, you're going to start internalizing that as well. And if that toxic parent also sat you down and said, I don't love any of you, I love me more, kind of thing, then absolutely you're going to be damaged. You bet your sweet bippy. So yeah, you want to get with a good therapist. You want to start hitting the self-esteem workbook like nobody's business. You want to start doing mirror work. You want to start reminding yourself that you are a child of the universe and you deserve to be treated with fucking respect, period. And nothing less will be allowed. So yeah, you got to start working on that, because we internalize what our parents tell us, what our lovers tell us. We internalize that and we make it real. And it's not. It's an opinion from them, from a disordered person. Bye-bye. Don't accept it. So work on yourself. Work on your self-esteem. Okay. All right. Yes, Richard Grannon is awesome for that. I wish this would have been taught in school so many years. Where'd I go? Also, many teens and young adults suffer and don't understand. Yeah, absolutely. I wish to God that they would do psychology in middle school and high school, because I see teenagers getting involved in some of these really horrifically nasty relationships. Sometimes, though, it's because the parents are also disordered, and getting a kid into therapy when you have a disordered parent is next to impossible. My dad did his damnedest to make sure that I was not in therapy. When he found out that mom had put me in therapy, he sabotaged it. He absolutely would not give the money for me to go get help. So, and that's why I left home when I was 17. I was like, fuck this shit. And, when it got into college, did the therapy through the college, and yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I wish they would teach this stuff. I really do. And I wish they would teach it in the courses for people to become therapists, because there's so many fucking bad therapists out there, and there's so many ignorant therapists out there, and bad, ignorant, kind of the same thing. Because if you don't know what you don't know, you can't help somebody. So yeah, don't get me started. Or do. whatever. Okay. What is reality therapy? Reality therapy is continually bringing the person back to what is. Continually bringing the person back to what is. Continually bringing the person back to what is, because we have a tendency in our mind to go off into what could have been. So yeah, it's just, you're constantly, what is, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? You know, we're not delving deeply into the past. We're not, lying on the couch and going, whoa, let me tell you about my maza and my faza. No, we're not going to do that. What is, how do you move forward? What's the next step? So it's a great one. So look them up. Look them up. My recommendation, guys, look up all the different modalities. There are so many different modalities out there. Some people love Jung. Some people don't. Some people love Freud. I don't. Some people love reality therapy. Some don't. Some people love Adler. Some don't. So you got to look up to see what the modalities are, to see what you like, what will work with you. And you can research them online. Super easy to do. And it's a good way to see what each therapist does. I do cognitive behavioral therapy, so I do CBT, but I'm eclectic. I'll pull from whatever I need to help that client at that particular time. So for example, a couple of years ago, I had a client that was a young adult, totally in an existential crisis, completely and totally in an existential crisis. So we went into existentialism. We did the whole existential thing. What is the meaning of life? What is this? And really delved into that. And I pulled a little of Freud in. And you do what you have to get the person up and running and in the present moment and moving forward. So you want somebody who's eclectic, but you also want to check to see what their main modality is. My main modality is CBT, because I like the cognitive behavioral. Here's the thought, here's the belief, here's the mistaken thought, here's the mistaken belief. Here's how we work on it. So yeah, that's what I like. Yes. Okay, Wendy, if you start a new job, do you give them a heads up about the smear campaign? I just want to get peace and get on with my life. Yes, absolutely. Here's the reason why. So remember, the HR department is not interested in you per se, but what they are interested in is not being sued. That's why HR is there. It's not there to really help the employees, which employers love to make them think it is, but no, that's not really why they're there. HR is there to not get sued. They're there to make sure the company does not get sued. If you have a stalker, if you have an obsessive, oh Jesus, I'm gonna have to shut up here soon. If you have an obsessive stalker, the obsessive X syndrome, okay, the ones that just can't let it go, that keep doing the smear campaign, that create false personas, that continue to stalk you on social media, yada, 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 and you suspect that they are going to contact your work, yes, absolutely. You let HR know, hey, I've got a stalker, I have a restraining order against this person. It would help also if you had a restraining order against this person, but you don't have to. I have a stalker, this is their name, I just wanted to let you know, and if they do contact you, please let me know so I can call the police. That's all you need to do, because healthy, normal people don't stalk. That's the truth. Healthy, normal people do not create false personas to spy on somebody. Healthy, normal people don't fucking care. When the relationship is over, it's over, period. So, yeah, there that is. Okay, all right, thank you for a brighter future, but as a codependent with a history of narc men, is there hope for a normal relationship, or will we always have to work harder at it? There is hope, sweetie, as long as you work on yourself and as long as you're aware. So here's the deal. I dated a whole slew of narcissists when I was young. When I was in my teens and 20s, I dated narcissist after narcissist after narcissist, because in my head, I was thinking, okay, this guy is just exactly like my dad. If I can make him love me, then I proved dad wrong. How fucked up is that? As I started really working on myself, lying on the couch, working on myself, talking about mom and dad, figuring out the abuse, figuring out narcissism, figuring out borderline, etc., and continued my own work, my choices got healthier and healthier until I met John. So yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you're gonna have to work on it. You're gonna have to be conscious. You're gonna have to be aware. You're gonna have to be awake. Absolutely. Otherwise, and you have to have boundaries. You have to have good self-esteem. You have to have boundaries. You have to say the word no. You have to recognize, you have to trust your gut and have a list of deal breakers. You got that in place, you're good to go. Does that make sense? So keep working on you. Absolutely. There's always hope. As long as there is breath in your body and you're doing the work, there's always hope. Yeah, you betcha. Okay. I feel happy for the first time in my life. I'm just scared to get into another sadistic narc relationship. That's normal, but here's the thing. Trust your gut and look for the red flags. Don't ignore the red flags. This is where we get into trouble, guys. Any and every time you ignore your gut, you're going to get into a bad relationship. If you sit there and you go, oh, yeah, no, I don't see all the red flags, you're going to get into another bad relationship. But if you go in eyes wide open and you're looking for the red flags, and if you see them, and if they don't course correct immediately, and if they love bomb, get the hell out. So yeah, Merry Christmas to you too, sweetie. Thank you for your videos. Do you have an opinion on Gestalt therapy? I love Gestalt therapy. I've done it. It's awesome. I love it. I think it's great. Yeah, absolutely. You know, again, it depends. I mean, some people hate it. Some people are like, oh, I hate Gestalt therapy. You're pointing out why my foot's twitching. Why is my foot twitching? I don't want to talk about my foot twitching. Well, honestly, your foot is twitching because you're having some thought. So yeah, I love Gestalt therapy. I love it. And like I said, go explore. Go see what works for you, you know? So yeah. It's hard when you're a parent, when you've come from an abusive childhood. I have to catch myself when I sometimes sound like my parents. That's why I have had myself and my son in therapy. Yes. I'm determined to break the cycle. Good for you, Michael. You keep going. Awesome. Hey, Alexa. Oh, Kelly, thank you. Thank you. I love you too. You're awesome. Okay, healthy people don't smear either. No, they do not. They do not. They don't. You know, a relationship ends, it ends. Period. And you're done. And that's it. And you don't smear. And if you feel the need to smear, then Houston, there's a problem. Yeah, you betcha. Okay. Story of my life too. Nothing but narcs or BPD before I understood I had to do the self-work. Yeah, you got to do the self-work, guys. You got to do the self-work. So, okay, I've got to get going because I've got stuff I got to do. So, okay. So, to recap, sleep deprivation, real. Yes, you will start hallucinating after about 24 hours of no sleep. Probably a little less than that, but you know, between 18 and 24 hours of no sleep, you're going to start, for me, I see giant penguins. So yeah, you're going to start hallucinating. That is different than psychotic hallucinations. So like unmedicated bipolar with psychotic features, schizophrenia, schizotypal, schizoaffective, you know, anything that's going to have voices talking to you that's on the psychotic end of the spectrum, that's different because those will happen 24/7 no matter what if you're unmedicated. If you're unmedicated, okay? What the medication does, and I cannot stress this enough, is it doesn't make the voices go away completely. All it does is it quiets them down enough for you to function, okay? So, so yes, you will have auditory hallucinations, you will have visual hallucinations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if it's chronic sleep deprivation, your body's gonna start breaking down because you're gonna get adrenal fatigue because you're constantly in a state of going, you know, it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, you know, I'm waking up at 2 in the morning being screamed at. Yeah. So you're going to have adrenal fatigue. Your immune system is going to go down. You're going to have a lot of physical problems. Diabetes often happens, gets worse, even though you're trying to do everything right and take care of yourself because your abuser is sabotaging you. They're sabotaging their diet. You're sabotaging your sleep. They're sabotaging your health. So yeah. So yes, you will get hallucinations from severe sleep deprivation, and they will do it intentionally. It is absolutely intentional. Abso-fucking-lutely in-fucking-tentional. Okay? There's a big difference between an oops, I'll never do it again, and a oops, I'll never do it again, but I'm doing it again the next night. Does that make sense? So, yeah. Okay. Hope that answered all your guys' questions. Have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas, Hanukkah, solstice, Kwanzaa, New Year, thingy, waka waka doodah day. You guys go have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys not this Sunday because I'm off this Sunday, but next Sunday we're going to talk about the new you. The new you. What do you want? What do you need? What are your hopes? What are your dreams? How do you get there? How do you get yourself rocking and rolling in this new year? So that's what we're going to talk about. All right, guys, go be awesome. I love you all. Have a great Christmas, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.